Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Leesburg. Our theme for this year, 2021, as it's counting down, is Timeless Wisdom, Evolutionary Vision. And our focus this month, as you can see on your screen, is Journey of Becoming. The title for our talk today is The Gift of a New Journey, and it will be given by our spiritual director, Charlene Banks. We're so glad that you took time out of your busy schedule to join us. So sit back and relax and get comfortable as we officially open our sacred space. Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly. And so it is. And so it is. Please feel free to add to the chat or in the comments and prayer concerns or celebrations that you would like us to include later when we provide our community spiritual mind treatment, which is a form of affirmative prayer. And now we're going to move into our time of meditation. So for our meditation today, I thought that it might be a great idea as we approach the end of this year to take a short journey on a labyrinth walk. So relax your body and sit comfortably. Close your eyes and take a moment just to focus on your breath, taking a few deep breaths to go into the peaceful state of mind as we enter this meditation. Picture yourself in a very peaceful place. Perhaps it's a place that's one of your favorite places to be when you're outside enjoying nature. There's no one around. You can only hear the sound of a gong in the distance. Maybe you hear a few birds. Maybe you can feel that gentle breeze as it caresses the leaves on the trees. The sun is shining and you just feel the warmth on your shoulders. And now you take a step to begin your walk, moving at a pace of your choice as you travel through the labyrinth that you create in your mind, moving slowly toward the center. And as you walk, we're going to reflect on your life journey so far. As you walk, recall some of the highest moments of your journey, the very best times, your best days, the highlights of your life. Just take a moment and try to recall one or two, a few of those moments of your journey. Realize that you created these moments, and that God was with you, creating these joyful moments, these joyful events with you. These are precious memories, like treasures that you have collected over the years. And like a treasure chest, overflowing with jewels and gold and pearls, they are stored within, and they cause your spirit to glow brightly whenever you recall them. They're always here. Now, as you continue to walk, recall the moments of your journey where you felt the greatest challenges, your worst days, those moments when you felt weak or alone or defeated, for they are part of your life journey too. Take a moment as you recall those thoughts, those memories, and realize that there are probably some false beliefs that are part of those memories. Because you were never weak. You always had that divine spark shining within you. And you were never alone, for God was with you. And you were never defeated. Because look at you, you're here now. You're a survivor. And once you release the false beliefs that were covering those memories, almost like rust or moss, and you dust that part off, you realize that these memories are treasures too that you have collected. Like that treasure chest overflowing with jewels and rich color. They are a part of your life journey. They are part of your spirit. And they also cause it to glow brightly. Now you've come to the center. The center of the labyrinth is called the center rose. For a rose symbolizes beauty and love and enlightenment. Picture a rose garden in the winter months. We cannot see the roses that will bloom in the summer, but they are there. The essence of those roses are within the bare stems. And when the conditions are right, the buds will appear. Take a moment to express gratitude for your life's journey, for all the high moments and even the low moments, because each was a gift. Each was a rose. Those moments that led you to where you are now. And along the way, you gained confidence and experience, empathy, compassion, and insight. As we stand in the center of the labyrinth, we just have gratitude. Repeat after me. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you for this wonderful life. Thank you for this wonderful life. Just take a moment and breathe in that feeling of peacefulness that you have when you accept the gratitude for your life's journey. Now it's time to leave the center and retrace our steps back through the labyrinth. And as you walk this time, reflect on the healing forces that you were able to receive through this journey. You recalled the high moments of your life. They were the gifts of joy and happiness and love. And you recalled the low moments in your life. They were the gifts of experience, confidence, compassion for yourself and for others. And you released any false beliefs that you carried with you. You do not carry them anymore. So as you walk back, you feel lighter because you are lighter. Your heart, your mind, your soul is just filled with peace and ease and gratitude. And when you're ready, leave this place, but realize at any time you can just close your eyes and take this journey again. It's always available to you. What a wonderful feeling. So now slowly open your eyes and join us as we celebrate the season with some music from Soul Pajamas.
This is a Christmas song that Dan wrote that is all about the season.
Snow hangs like a veil
And whispers to the moon.
Clouds appear in the air.
Puff at every word.
I remember this feeling from when I was small.
A season of hope. The meaning of it all.
A time of rebirth.
Peace on earth. The spirit of Christmas.
So breathe it in, there's more than enough. The source in our world is pure love. It's in everything and all of us. It's everywhere, it's in the air at Christmas. More meaning than meets the eye.
Reawakening.
Rebirth of the love inside.
Inside of you and me.
I remember this feeling from when I was small.
A season of hope. The meaning of it all.
A time of rebirth.
Peace on earth.
The spirit of Christmas. So breathe it in. There's more than enough. The source in our world is pure love. It's in everything and all of us. It's everywhere, it's in the air at Christmas.
Wow, 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 wow. You guys are amazing. Thank you, Soul Pajamas. I felt that, and the harmonizing was just, whoo, it's really perfect. The
Thank
sound
you.
of Christmas. And it's such a joyful time of the year. I mean, typically, you may have a different experience, but I'm hoping that each of you are feeling the magical wonder of this season. And it just it reminds me of something that I've always known, and I knew this as a child coming up, that Christmas, no matter if you're typically a hard-hearted person and typically just a vile human, a lot of times Christmas comes and you're like, and you go to church, whether it's the Catholic midnight mass or something during the day or candle lighting service or something, it just tends to change people even momentarily. And that's kind of neat, the magic of it. And I think about that and I'm like, wow, what a tradition for, us Westerners in North America to be sort of 2,000 years or so, like we're celebrating still the birth of Christ that happened around 2,000 years ago, give or take. And the story, as you know, goes like this, where there's a baby being born to a virgin, and they come to a village, and they're really neat. She really needs to have this baby. And if you've ever had a baby, they don't tend to wait. You know what I'm saying? It's now or now, right? And so, but there was no room at the inn, and so they were told to go to the manger, to the place where all the animals were, and have this baby in what seems to be an inhospitable environment. And then here come these wise men who just knew it was happening somehow, and they took a journey to this newborn baby because they knew that he was the Messiah, the chosen, the Christ, the anointed one. And so I think about that whole story, and yes, it's an amazing story. And I think about, you talk about journeys. What about the journey of those wise men? Think about their journey. And I thought, so first things first, they saw the Christmas star, as they call it now. And there are some people that say, oh, it was Halley's Comet. But that doesn't quite line up with the timeline. They'll say, oh, it's just 3 planets that were sort of aligned with each other to look like one big old star. That could be true, but in the story in the Bible, that star moved around. It moved and guided the wise men to the baby in the manger. So I don't know about you, but unless they had some sort of special satellite that wasn't created yet, I'm going to go with the miracle story because for me it just works. Because think about our own journey, the journey that Tamara kind of walked us through in the labyrinth. And imagine that the gifts that like we do with our dreams, we are everything in the story. So here we are. Part of us are these wise men. Now, I don't know if there were 3 wise men. People say just wise men, it says in the Bible. But there were 3 gifts that they brought. So sure, each one had a gift. Let's go with that. But what if part of us is the wise person that's on a journey. And we know, we've heard, we feel that there is something born within us that has always been there, refer to last week's talk, that has never been hurt or harmed, but also hasn't really grown up into its full potential. That could be the Christ, the Messiah, the chosen, the anointed one within each of us. So we are also the wise men on a journey to find the part of us that is the innocent light of the world. And lo and behold, there's a star in the sky. There's a light that we follow. As the wise man in our journey every day that we live on this planet, there's a part of us that knows that we should head toward the light. You've heard the term, right? Head toward the light, follow the light. There's light even in the darkness. In fact, we know spiritually that it is because of the darkness that we can see the light. Have you ever turned on your Christmas lights during the day? Not so amazing. But wait till the nighttime and it just pops, right? This is the thing. We've got to embrace our dark night of the soul, our deepest, darkest, those moments of loneliness and despair that just seem so dark, and then look for the light. Follow that. Yes, it will move around because that's what it does. It's a miracle. It's amazing. It's a miracle that is shown to us every day. If we sit, get still, find the light. Follow it. Keep following it. And as the wise men ended up finding baby Jesus in the manger, so too we, if we follow our light, we will find our divinity. And it might be in a manger because, listen, there is no room at the inn. That's our ego. Our ego, yep, we're full. We think this, we think that. Our mind is chitter-chattering. There's no room for divinity at the inn. So what do we have to do? Go outside, go into nature. Yes, with the animals and possibly the bugs. Okay, I'll allow it. And just sit and be in the nature of the way things were millions of years ago without the inn and all the technology. Okay, let's go there. And let's sit and be within and be still. And perhaps there will be that awareness of our inner Christ, our inner divinity. And then we have gifts for our inner divinity, don't we? We bring 3 gifts. Now, that with the wise men, according to the story, they brought 3 gifts. One was gold, and one was frankincense, and one was myrrh. So gold, I think we can get it. That stands for physical prosperity. Physical, we bring our physical abundance to our divinity. We don't have to stop enjoying nice things because we've become spiritual. It's a myth. You don't have to, shun all things and wear a rag and sit outside. No, it's not required. But we can bring our wealth and our abundance to our divinity and give it to the divinity, which will turn around, I feel like, for me anyway, it tells me, oh, you have a lot. That means you can give a lot. I'm like, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. And I give. I don't know about you, but that's sort of how it feels for me. The second gift, frankincense. Now, I was reading about frankincense, and apparently it grows on trees. It is a resin that leaks out of trees and hardens, and they call it tears. Frankincense tears. And it represents the emotional center of ourselves because tears, obviously. But if you look at how they use the frankincense resin, it's for healing. And so frankincense, if we're going to go with this whole you are every part of the story of the Christmas story, we're bringing healing to our Christ self. And it turns around, I feel like it's really the other way around. It's reciprocal. Our Christ self heals our egoic self. And there's a healing that happens when we allow it to be. The third gift is myrrh. And this is, it represents spirituality. And so what is myrrh? Apparently, it is an embalming ointment, which I love this. I'm like, oh yeah, embalming. Definitely. We will allow to be dead the things that are no longer in our lives, the things we let go in Tamara's labyrinth. Let it die, embalm it if you have to. Just let it go. And so those are the 3 gifts that the wise men gave to baby Jesus because they knew that this was the Messiah, it's the highest part in each of us, the Christ within, that has been born on this Christmas day, so to speak, even though we kind of know it was in the spring, but we'll go with it. We'll talk about why they moved it to the winter in 1 second. But I really love that this little innocent baby whose hope for the world is to save us, in quotes, from ourselves, from our deepest discord, and to really allow us to honor that which is within ourselves. Because once Jesus grew up and said, "Don't you know ye are gods? Everything I do, you can do and more." He taught his disciples that this stuff that I'm doing, I'm not special, contrary to a lot of the canonized texts, which will have you believe Jesus said, well, only I can do this. What he meant was only when you allow the Christ to be born through yourself. only I, meaning only the Christ. And the Christ means the anointed one. Each one of us are anointed if we would only awaken to it. And so this Christmas is just like every other Christmas. Of course, it reminds us that we too have our Christ within us. And it is the birth. It allows us to rebirth again, that Christ consciousness. And let's talk now about why it was moved to the winter. Now, if you look back at history, you know that there are many winter traditions that are honoring the light. It's no mistake that the story, this Christmas story, centered around a light shining in the sky so that the wise men could follow it. So why is there a light? So it turns out winter, December 21st to be exact, is it's what we call the winter solstice. That is the shortest day in the year, the shortest amount of light that we're ever going to have here in the northern hemisphere. We're going to see the sun last for fewer hours than we've ever seen it for the whole year on December 21st. And so there's a lot of festivals and a lot of traditions all over the world that celebrate this solstice. Now, obviously, if you're in the southern hemisphere, it happens around June, where it's your shortest day. But the idea is, oh no, there's no more light. Light is how we get our health and our life. The sun itself is what enlivens us and vigor. It's why we're alive. And before we really knew anything about the movement of planets and all that, we just created a lot of ritual. It was called, please come back. Please don't be gone forever. Let's make sure it's not gone forever, and let's create ritual around it. And so, as you know, every year, here at CSL Leesburg, we typically talk about how the Hanukkah, the Hanukkah celebration is all about that one candle that stayed lit over 8 days. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The menorah with all the different candles that you're lighting for that. Kwanzaa has a bunch of candles. We do Christmas trees, which is about light. But for this year, I thought we would have some fun. Let's take a journey around the world to see what other traditions celebrate winter solstice and how it looks for them. So I'll start sharing my screen here. And I'll show you a bunch of just really cool pictures and tell you what these are about. All right, this first one, and this is courtesy of Reader's Digest. If anybody wants to, I can share the link where I got all this information and you can look at it for yourself. But the first one here is Winter Solstice Traditions, St. Lucia Day, Scandinavia. As with many modern celebrations, ancient festivals observing the winter solstice merged with newer traditions to create the holiday season as we know it today. In Scandinavia, St. Lucia Day, also called St. Lucy's Day, on December 13th, the solstice by the old calendar, marks the start of the Christmas season with a procession of young women in white robes, red sashes, and wreaths of candles on their heads, lighting the way through the darkness of winter. Honoring St. Lucia, also known as St. Lucy, this festival incorporates pagan winter solstice celebrations marked by bonfires and ginger snaps, saffron-flavored buns, and glögg. Glögg with 2 G's at the end, look it up, I'm interested, are traditionally served. So that's interesting. All right, let's move on all the way around the world to China. This is the Dongzhi celebration. It's a thousands of years old festival on December 21st. Or 22nd or 23rd, depending on the calendar, celebrated with family gatherings and a big meal, including rice balls called Tang Yuan. Thought to mark the end of the harvest season, the holiday also has roots in the Chinese concept of yin and yang. After the solstice, the abundance of darkness in winter will begin to be balanced with the light of the sun. That's what they do in China. All right, let's go ahead over to the Stonehenge gathering in England. Although no one knows exactly why the ancient circle of Stonehenge was built, there's no denying it. It lines up with the movements of the sun. It's one of the original of global monuments built around the summer solstice, and archaeological research suggests winter solstice festivals happened there. Modern revelers have taken up the tradition, gathering at dawn the day after the longest night to witness the magical occurrence of the sun rising through the stones. The biggest part? Oh, it's free of charge, although parking is limited. Visitors can even walk right up to the stones, an area usually roped off for this peaceful and sacred celebration. All right, and let's go on over to Iran, where they have a Shab-i-Yalda celebration. It's an ancient Persian festival, like many winter solstice holidays, celebrates the end of the shorter days and the victory of light over darkness. Meaning birth, Yalda is marked by family gatherings, candles, originally fires lit all night, but now we're on to candles, poetry readings, and a feast to get through the longest night of the year. Nuts and fruits, including watermelon and pomegranates, are traditionally eaten. Legend has it that eating the fruits of summer will protect you from illness in the winter. It's beautiful. And then in Vancouver, to honor the many cultural traditions that celebrate the winter solstice, Vancouver's Secret Lantern Society created the city's Solstice Lantern Festival. Participants can attend workshops to create their lanterns. On the night of the solstice, processions march throughout the city, culminating in fire performances. Attendees can also try to find their way through the labyrinth of light, a maze of 600 candles that invites visitors to let go of old thoughts, Tamara, and find new possibilities of the coming year. So great that you did that meditation with us. And let's go to Japan. Toji, it's a celebration in Japan, has a few interesting customs associated with it. Traditionally, a winter squash called kabocha is eaten, one of only a few crops that would have been available in the days of old. A hot bath with yuzu citrus fruits is believed to refresh the body and spirit, ward off illness, and soothe dry winter skin. Apparently, rodents called capybaras, or guinea pigs, love yuzu baths as well. And in a modern twist on the age-old tradition, some Japanese zoos will throw the fruit into the warm waters and let the animals soak in the winter solstice. A couple more. Guatemala. Although the Catholic Church now observes the Feast of St. Thomas on July 3rd, in Chichistenango, Guatemala, the festival is still celebrated for a week leading up to the winter solstice of December 21st. Why? Likely because it's a mix of the Catholic ceremony with native Mayan rituals that may have been timed to the solstice. Today, the feast features brightly colored traditional costumes, masks, parades, fireworks, and music. The highlight is the death-defying custom of the flying pole dance. Climbing a 100-foot pole, tying on a rope, and jumping off the top. They didn't say bungee. They said rope. All right. Your mileage may vary, but no thank you. Okay, Soyal Hopi tribe. This is the indigenous Hopi people of present-day northern Arizona celebrate the winter solstice as part of their religious tradition honoring Kachina or Katsina, depending on how you're pronouncing that, which are ancestral spirits representing the natural world. During the Soyal solstice ceremony, which is led by a tribal chief, the sun is welcomed back to its summer path with ritual dances. Gift giving to children, prayers for the coming year, singing and storytelling are also part of the festivities. Prayer sticks and kachina dolls are often made in preparation for the celebration. Look at the beautiful colors. All right, one more. Let's go to South Korea. Little New Year is marked in South Korea with the traditional eating of a red bean porridge called pajuk. Red is considered to be a lucky color. So the dish is meant to keep bad spirits away while embracing good wishes for the coming year. Other Danji traditions include giving calendars, as Korean kings used to do, and also socks. Socks. And this is a day Koreans wish for snow. Cold weather on the winter solstice is said to bring a bountiful harvest. And so I was looking at that and I thought, well, what about Africa? Don't we do stuff? Don't the Africans? Let me find something. And of course, all I had to do was look up the Yoruba traditions. And they do have a tradition. Now, here is a beautiful picture of the representative of the Odu. Now, the Odu means many things to many people, but the Odu is known as the womb of life, the darkness from which all things emerge. And it's, when I was taking the class in Yoruba, they told us that it's what we call the infinite possibilities, the realm of all possibilities, the ground of all being. It's that when we come up with things and come up with ideas, anything creative comes from the Odu, which is the womb, which is the dark womb of creation, where all things come. And so, of course, this is the holy representation of this. She is the daughter of Ma'u, who has 16 eyes. And one thing about Odu is that she prefers the dark. She is depicted with eyes closed where it is dark. Another symbol for her is a womb, representing mystery and power, and a sacred portal where a soul is nurtured and receives the veil of human form. Now, the key about this is that the darkness, instead of trying to hope the darkness away and light it up with lots of lights, the darkness is where we are not distracted by the outer trappings of the world, like the ego, who seeks to control and dominate. In fact, we prefer the dark because that is where divine light is born and where wisdom lives. It is not dreadful or baneful at all. It is where we all come from and where we all return to. So, how interesting is it that all over the world we enjoy these traditions? I mean, a lot of those I didn't know about. I hadn't heard of before. And I love that we're not limited to just the culture that we grew up in, that in this time we can reach out and look at other cultures and see what is it that they embrace, what is it that they believe, because those underlying beliefs become language, and language become thoughts, and thoughts become our experiences. And so it's important to examine all of these things, and I'm just so grateful for it. And now, as I close this, I would just like us to know that we are on a journey that is never ending, but within that journey, there are always new beginnings. And so this time of the year, I would just invite all of us to just decide today to be no longer held down by any beliefs that you thought were yours, simply because it was a culture that you were raised in. Decide right now that you're going to begin again with a beginner's mind. And we say in our teaching, a beginner's mind is the mind to have, because when you're a beginner, everything kind of just works, because you don't know enough about it to negate everything. A beginner just says, okay, and they just start manifesting. We teach your thoughts become things, and they go, okay, and they just start manifesting. So I'd like to invite everybody here in the room to just make a commitment. And maybe that commitment for you is to go ahead and take this course in January that's happening. You don't have to, obviously, but Tamara is teaching a course. And what if we all just took that course and started again, as if we never even knew anything about the principles? It's called Thoughts Become Things, or Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. What if we just took that class, five weeks, and just started again, as if we were brand new at it? And what a journey, what a difference that would make. And if not that class, any sort of journey for you that has a beginning, that has some steps on it, that you could check in, and you can change your entire life just by doing those steps, because we are looking to be given, or to allow ourselves to have a new perspective on the world, on life, so that we can be more intentionally who we came here to be. I don't have any quotes for you, but I think it was pretty fun to go see how the world does solstice. So let's go within and go into prayer. I know that there's only one power, one life, but it's replicating itself as each and every one of us, with all of the diversity that we see here and all of the illuminations that are coming in to each and every one of us at this moment. It's each of us are different, yet we are one. It's an amazing thing to be aware of, that what is going on is so much bigger than we could ever even know. And I'm so just dialed in to the fact that if there's only one, and that one is the divine, and if I am part of that one and I'm not separate from it, well, then I get to be all the things that the divine is. And I get to put my spin on it. I get to be that divinity, that wholeness, that wellness, that peace. I get to embrace that Christ consciousness, that inner Messiah, that inner anointed one. And as it comes through me, it's going to look way different than when it comes through you. And it's all God. That's what's so amazing. So I embrace this very moment to be able to walk upright, just knowing that I am already okay. And that everything that comes to me is for my highest good. And that I speak my word that if anything is not for my highest good, that it will not be attracted to me. It will just fall away and bounce off. No attraction there. And that just allows me to walk a path that is of the highest good for everyone that I come into contact with. And I know that this is true for each and every person here. Each and every person that's within the sound of my voice. I know for you too, that only good is attracted to you. Only wellness, only pure essence of spirit is coming into you. And as you release anything that's unlike your highest good, it only feels better and better and reveals the healing that is already there. And so I speak my word for anyone right here, right now, who is currently suffering, whether in the body or in the mind. I speak my word that everything is okay. And you are right where you need to be, and the light is shining. Follow that light. And so I release my word with gratitude and with thanks for just being so blessed to be part of this community. And I'm so grateful. I let it go, I let it be, and so it is. And so we have our soul pajamas coming up next.
I love that you say pajamas. So cute. This is a song Dan wrote about gratitude, among other things.
I found the love to last a lifetime, more than enough to throw out a lifeline, spread it around so we can all find love, prayer, laughter, and gratitude. Good for the soul, love, prayer, laughter, and gratitude. That's how I roll. I like to laugh, give over completely. If I make a gap, the joke is on me. I laugh at myself, because all I see is love, prayer, laughter, and gratitude. Good for the soul, love, how I roll. Spring, summer, fall. For you I am grateful. For winter and all. Ever so thankful. Blessings are gold. And I wish you were thankful for love, prayer, laughter, and gratitude. Good for the soul, love, prayer, laughter, and gratitude. That's how I roll, love, prayer, laughter, and gratitude. Good for the soul, love, prayer, laughter, and gratitude. That's how I roll.
Well, awesome. Awesome. Wow, Charlene, I felt like I took a trip around the world. Thank you so much for your message. And thank you, Dan and Aaron, Soul Pajamas. Appreciate your music contributions. And now it's time to bless the donations that are shared today. At CSL Leesburg, you heard in our opening video when we talked about our pillars that we believe in the law of circulation. As we give, so shall we receive. We are a tithing community, and we practice what we preach. And we know that the donations that are given to our center bless those who give and those who receive. Please take a look at our screen. There's so many ways that you can give. It's easy to find a way that works for you. Now, please join me as you take whatever you're giving, maybe it's physically or mentally, just place it over your heart and join me as we say our blessing of our gifts. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I touch, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And Dan and Aaron, I might need you to mute your mic. All right, let's look at our announcements. Well, you heard Charlene mention a class that's going to be happening in January, but before that,
Wait,
you're okay.
which one do you want?
All right, let's go with that.
Okay.
Since you mentioned the class, and since the days of December are dwindling, we have a class starting in January. It's 5 Saturdays in January. Please join me if you can. Maybe this is where you approach life with a beginner's mindset, and you join us and just see if there's something that you need to change your thinking so you can change your life. And you can see the information. Just go to our website and sign up for that class. Now let's go back to what are we doing this week? If you like what you heard today, join us on Tuesday at 9 a.m. Charlene will lead the dream study. And it's fun. I don't often get to participate in these, but it's so much fun to see how the folks that come to this meeting, this group, just talk and explore their dreams, and everybody gets some insight and shares what they're dreaming, and everybody chimes in with their interpretations. A lot of fun to get and see the insight that we get from our dreams. Then on Wednesday night, midweek, we have our Diving Deeper. So at the end of service today, we say that we share our pearls. What are those little nuggets from our service today that resonated with you? I know I always jot down a bunch. And then we check in midweek and we say, you know, what really has carried through? What, as we dive deeper for those pearls, what have you gotten from today's message that has really shown up for you this week? And we chat and we check in and we just get so much insight. I always walk away from these Wednesday meetings with something new, some new insight that I have received. So join us on Wednesday nights at 7 if you're able. All right. Gosh, here we are. It's time to end our sacred time together. So once again, just place your hands over your heart, and you know by now, you know what I want to do. I want to hear you turn on your mics and join me as I say, I am love.
I am love.
Yay! Did I hear you, Dan and Aaron? Did you turn on your mics now? Yes, I got you. All right, now point to somebody there in the room with you, or maybe just on the screen that you're looking at, or maybe it's a little furry friend beside you. I don't know where they went
You are
to.
love.
You are loved.
Sure.
Love that so much. And now put your hands up in the air with our love sprinkles. And remember, folks, it's all love.
All love.
All love.
All love.
All light as you go into this week ahead of you with winter solstice, or perhaps you're celebrating Kwanzaa or Christmas. Just thank you so much for being here with us. Stay if you can, and if you can't, just have a wonderful, wonderful week. So much going on. We'll see you next Sunday.